I really like the cap you sent me, but do you have a model or another one with a little less shade on it? Because the light is still a little too bright on my face when I shoot videos. Okay, thanks. Appreciate it, man. I'm looking forward to it. What? Too often something like this happens when you try to upgrade stuff or buy premium upgrades or whatever for the tools and the things we use on our blog. And a good example here are the themes we use with WordPress. As you guys know, I've been using the Astra theme. And after using Astra for a couple of years, I thought maybe I should try and upgrade it to the premium version. Maybe I would get some pretty cool features out of it. And the main thing that happened was that my site now was a bit slower. Because what happens when you upgrade the theme to the premium versions many times, you'll just get a lot more code because that upgraded version, that premium version is way heavier on the code side because you allow for so many features that you might not even need. So I ended up downgrading again and it was just a complete waste of money. And I would say the free themes out there, I mean, the competition is so high, so you get so much. And I actually don't use a premium theme for any of my sites. Maybe one or two where I need a lot of different stuff, like on the Passive Income Geek website. But for my blogs, like Go Downsize and Sewing Machine Talk, and also the other sites that I have, I actually just use the free Astra theme because it's much lighter and it's easier for me to get good load times with it. So if you are considering upgrading your WordPress theme, always check first if it will be bloated with a lot of code that will slow down the site. So you can probably go to the forums and ask people about this, or maybe they have some documentation around this. And I would say most of the older themes that has been around for a couple of years, more than 2 years, you will probably see the same thing. You'll just get a slower site because there's so much excess code, so much extra code in there. And that's because it's pretty recently that Google came out with these core vital updates where you need a faster site and you need to load like super snappy. And since we saw that change in Google, it's just way more important that you have a pretty fast site. So make sure to pick a theme with a lot of downloads and where you can see that it's upgraded recently from the developer. Because if you have like millions of downloads, you can be pretty sure that it's working because that means that people have recommended it. But remember, if it's 3, 4, 5, 6 years old, all these recommendations and reviews and all these stars may depend on something that worked a couple of years ago before Google had this increased emphasis on speed. So that being said, there are definitely some themes, some premium themes or paid themes that are worth paying for. I'm gonna check out the new theme Popcorn soon. It's made by Carl Broadbent and Alex from Weepy Eagle. I know them both pretty well and they are really good guys, so I want to check it out because I know it's been recommended by Zoic as well, so I know it's definitely fast and it should be doing what we need it to do. I also tested the Acabado theme from Income School and I liked it. It's also a paid theme. There's a lot of really cool stuff in there and they did a good job on it. But there were a few features that I was missing. For example, I couldn't enable jQuery on it. It's a very technical thing, but it will allow you to do pop-ups and different stuff. And there was also a little plugin that I have on some of my bigger sites where you can upvote and downvote a post at the bottom. And that needs to load a little box where people can input some data for me. They can tell me what's wrong or what's good with an article. And I just couldn't get that to work because this jQuery thing was not working on the theme. And then they had this release with a lot of errors in it, but I'm sure Ricky is taking good care of it now. He promised to really pay close attention to it, so I think I can recommend it, but I haven't used it for years, so I'm just sticking to the Astra theme right now. I really like it and it's free and it's super fast. Now let's shift gears and talk about SEO tools. A lot of people recommend you spend a lot of money on Ahrefs or SEMrush or something like that. And these tools are pretty pricey, and there are also other tools that I want to talk about first. And these are the tools that will help you figure out what the other pages in Google are doing on their page, the ones that rank at the top of Google. And I'm talking about software like Surfer, POP, it stands for Page Optimizer Pro, and Cora. There are different versions. The Cora one is definitely way more technical, and the Surfer is user-friendly and all that. And I've mentioned these tools before, so they are paid tools, and I mean, personally, I don't really like them, because what they do is they will analyze what's ranking in Google, the first page typically, so the first 10 results there. They'll see the average number of words on the page, the number of subheadings, and how many images they have, and all these things that you can easily measure. But what you get really is just the average of what everybody else is doing. And while that can be helpful, what they recommend you do is to completely copy that and just make sure it's exactly the same, and then they typically tell you to just build more links to it than the other guys. And that's just not how I do it. I want to build a better resource, or I just really want to go for something where there's not a lot of competition already, what I call the underserved topics. So with my approach, I don't really use any of these tools. I did test the Surfer tool and the Page Optimizer Pro, the POP software, and it gave me recommendations to add a few more subheadings or a little more text or whatever, and to be honest, it really didn't change anything. And I did this for some of the more competitive posts where I found myself ranking 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or if I struggle to even get on page 1. So sometimes you just take a shot at it and you want to see if you can rank for something that's highly competitive, and that's where I think these tools sometimes make sense. Maybe if you miss something completely, but I would say really just pay attention to what would be the absolute best resource and create that instead, because just getting data on what all the other guys are doing, I don't really find that super helpful. And they are also pretty expensive. I would say you can save your money on these tools. So now let's talk about the actual keyword tools like the Ahref and SEMrush. So I do use these, and I'm going to talk about how I use them in the next video. So this video here is about tools you shouldn't buy and you don't need, and the next video will be about what I actually use. And remember to subscribe if you want to see that video, if you want to get a notification there. But I would say the Ahref tool is super advanced, and the same goes for SEMrush. So if you're new to this game again, I would completely stay away from it because it's a lot of money. I can't remember the exact prices. I'll try and copy them in here in the screen, but I don't pay that. I use a legacy plan because I've been using Ahref for 10 years with my clients and stuff. But I would say it's definitely not worth it if you're new to this, because there are way better ways to find topics to write on for a new site. But once you have traffic, once you are earning a good deal of money, and let's say you have 50 or 100,000 page views per month, these tools can definitely make sense, because then you can start looking at what other sites and forums and competitors are already ranking for. And if you find a site that you feel like you can compete with, then it makes sense to see what they're ranking for and where they are ranking for a good set of keywords that you think have a good deal of search volume. And again, these search volume numbers in the keyword tools are also very much off, as we've been looking at a couple of times. So you need to take that with a grain of salt. But if you can do that, it can definitely make sense. And I'll do more videos about that. Actually, I'm about to do an upgraded or some new modules to my course around some more advanced stuff, where I'm also teaching some of the stuff that I do from some of my more competitive sites. But I want to talk about one keyword tool that I actually really like. I do like the Keyword Chef tool from Ben Adler. It's really cool, and I did a review of it a while back, and he's just still adding some really cool features. Now you can even add sites that you know you can compete with, or sites that you know you cannot compete with in your niche. So they will flag red or green in this little indication thing where you can see the competition level, so to speak. And to me, that just makes a lot of sense. So if you haven't seen my video about the Keyword Chef tool, check that out. And there's also a link to it in the description. And I also have an affiliate link if you want to use that. So thank you for that if you want to do that. That's also in the description and on my tools page. But I really like what Ben did there. And there's one more thing you can save your money on if you're new to this, if you don't have like 50 or 100,000 page views per month. If you don't have much traffic yet, you don't need to pay for premium hosting. It's completely fine to go with one of the starter packages. I mean, you would need a good deal of traffic before you need to move to something like VPX or the other bigger hosting companies that will cost you a lot of money. So save those money for now and spend that money on content instead. You can always see my updated recommendations. As I filmed this video, I'm using Hostamata. There's a link on my tools page and in the description. I've also used Bluehost, and I got a lot of steam for that I didn't really get. I mean, I've been using Bluehost for many years, and as soon as I started talking about this on YouTube and in my course, I got quite a lot of pretty upset comments that people thought I was only promoting Bluehost because I was getting good commission, and that was definitely not the case. I actually used it, but I mean, there was just so many people who disliked Bluehost, so I assume since they have bad experiences with them, I just left them out of my recommendation, because I mean, Hostamata that I recommend right now, they're doing a fantastic job as well, and I got a pretty sweet discount deal there for you guys. So you can get 75% off. So for only 40 bucks, you can get the domain and you can get a hosting plan that works perfectly fine for your site. And I want to do a quick shout out to Alex from VP Eagle. He was the one who recommended me the shift from Bluehost to Hostamata, because I was just getting tired of all these comments around Bluehost, so I needed something else. And I've been with Hostamata now for the test site that I'm building inside my course, and a lot of my students are using Hostamata, and they just have super fast chat support. So whenever you have any trouble, they'll get to you super fast and help you with any issues, really. So as the site matures and you get more and more traffic, I recommend VPX. VPX is some of the best deals that I've found online. They have very good pricing. And besides the more bandwidth and the more traffic you can send to the premium host, I would say the main difference between the smaller hosting companies, the cheap hosting, and the premium hosting companies is the level of support you're getting. If you contact the support with Bluehost, for example, you'll typically need to have the ticket raised to somebody within the company with more technical knowledge, because the guys on the front desk, the ones you meet first there, they'll only be able to help you with the very, very basic stuff. And if you ask them about something that's a little more technical, they don't know what to answer you. So sometimes you need to wait, and then you'll get an email the day after. So you get to talk to somebody, but they might not be able to help you. But that's something that I've found to be different with Hostamata. And that's also why I like them very much and why I recommend them. Because the guys you meet there immediately on the chat, they've been able to help me every time with everything from SSL or caching, or if the site was down for some reason, or it's just any technical reason, really, they'll be able to help you out without elevating it to the other guys on the team that's more experienced. So that's pretty cool. Now let's take 5 quick things you can also save your money on for a new blog, or probably for your whole blogging career. So you don't need to pay for stock images. You can use a site like Unsplash or Pexels.com or Pixabay. These sites have a lot of beautiful and fantastic images. But I will say they are very much like stock photos. And if you need something that's more premium and you need like better photos, I recommend Deposit Photos. You'll also find all these recommendations on my tools page. A few people pointed out in the comments here and also on in my community that the pictures are very much European style, because the company is based in Europe. So if you have a niche like, let's say, basketball or baseball, where you'll need pictures taken in the States, then it might not work out for you as well. But I haven't used any other services for all my sites, and I would say they have very, very good pictures for all the niches that I'm in. And I really like the pricing, and you can typically grab a pretty good deal around Black Friday or when you're halfway through the year. So you have Black Friday in the early winter, and then in the spring you'll also have a deal with one of the bigger deal sites, so you can grab a lot of stock images with Deposit Photos for 50% off. So look for those, and you'll also find an affiliate link on my tools page. The next thing you can save your money on is page builders. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that I used to use Elementor on my sites. I really like what they do, and I still use it on the Passive Income Geek site because I need some pretty advanced stuff there. But I mean, really, the passive income geek site is not made so much to rank in Google, because I mean, it's nice if I'm ranking for a couple of terms, but mostly the traffic sent to that site is coming here from the YouTube channel anyway. I don't blog about this because I don't have a huge passion for blogging about blogging. I like to do these videos here for you guys. So, but for my sites, I just use the Gutenberg editor now, and I have a few videos about that as well. And the thing is that Elementor will definitely slow down your site. So they did try to somehow fix this by enabling people to turn on and off the Elementor plugin for each page on your site. So let's say you have a sales page or you have a lead generating page. For some reason you have a few pages across your site where you need some really sweet graphics or animations, whatever you need, some stuff to happen there that you could only do with the page builder. Then you can actually go in and enable Elementor on only these few URLs. And that's pretty sweet, because then you can have the whole blog and the article section or whatever you have on your site to load without any code from the Elementor. And I don't know if all the other page builders are doing the same thing, because I've only used Elementor. But if you don't have any need for fancy animations and things flying around and stuff, you can definitely save your money on the page builders as well. You can do so much cool stuff with the Gutenberg editor. And the next thing you can save your money on is the logo. If you want, you can buy a very cheap logo on a stock site, or you can go to a site like Logo Maker. I've used that a couple of times. There you can brew up something pretty cool yourself, or go and spend $5 on Fiverr and get a logo there. And then you can always come back later and add something to it or make a way cooler logo. Because if you have a new site, chances are you want to update your logo 2, 3, 4 times over the first couple of years anyway, because maybe you're going into some other aspects of the niche and you found out that you started over here and actually where all the money is and the low competition stuff is, it's over here. And now you have a slightly different focus. So after year 2, you will probably need to update the logo to reflect that. 2 more things you can save your money on. First, the image compression software like Short Pixels and Smush It or whatever they're called, all of them, you can save your money on those, because Short Pixel will let you upload a good deal of images for free on a daily basis. So unless you're building out a portfolio of sites, you don't need to pay for that either. And the last one is the AI writer tools. Don't even get me started on that. I have a video about how you should stay away from that unless you really know what you're doing and you want to go over and fact check everything. Then you can definitely save your money on those as well. Maybe they will evolve and get better over time, but for now, what I got out of my testing around these AI writing tools was just pure crap. So I hope you like this. Give this video a thumbs up and I'll see you guys next time.